Level Smiler. Yes, the most awaited Backrooms level is finally here. I know you guys have been asking for this for a long time now, and I heard you. So without further ado, let's get right into Level Smiler. Level Smiler, also known as Level Smile, is one of the most interesting Backrooms levels I've covered so far. Why? Because it's the base of Smilers, an entity which is less of an entity and more of a mystery. Smilers are an enigma, something that crosses our expectations of how a smile is put together, something that feeds on our primordial fear of the unknown. And who says Smilers hunt humans for sustenance? They hunt because they simply love it. The paranoia that we feel when meeting them satiates them enough. Paranoia and fear are their dinner, but cutting someone's life short is their dessert. They're that dangerous. Now, imagine a whole level full of these nightmarish creatures. Well, that's what Level Smiler is. No wonder it comes under class Dead Zone in survival difficulty. It has multiple hazards and is strictly uninhabitable. However, the level has all the elements perfectly suitable for Smilers. Just like in Level 6, the light source in this floor is cut off, and the torch doesn't work most of the time. The entire floor cannot record the location or navigate, and the only light source is the smiling face of the Smilers. And if you think this is enough, let me tell you something. The actual horror starts from here. Because Level Smiler is not just a single area or floor, it's divided into 4 sub-areas. And these sub-areas range from mildly dangerous to highly unsurvivable zones. The first area of Level Smiler. This area, surprisingly, has a light source almost everywhere, except few dark spots, and the only zone in Level Smiler to have lights. Hence, it's mildly dangerous. When wanderers come to this floor, it's strongly recommended that wanderers should always pay attention and be careful of anything that moves in those dark spots, because that moving thing is for sure a Smiler. They wait for you to hit a dark spot so they can plunge and attack. Hence, wanderers need to move quickly from one spot of light to another, and in no circumstances should hit a dark spot. If you do this without fail, you'll likely get to the next part of Level Smiler. The second area of Level Smiler. This one is quite interesting. It's an extremely long kitchen in the dark. As soon as you arrive here, you can see long, sharp kitchen knives are coming at you from all directions, and it happens non-stop. The wanderers not only have to beware of this all-around attack, but also avoid the trap set by the Smilers. Most of the wanderers lose it here. The average time of a wanderer spent in this zone is 5 to 8 minutes. After that, either they're dead or have completed the area and moved on to the next. The probability of completion, however, is pretty slim. Then comes the third area of Level Smiler. This area is exceptionally unsafe. On this part, the electricity has been completely cut off. There's nothing meaningful to do but walk. Wanderers can't see, hear, or feel anything. Can't think, can't understand. The people will be trapped here, losing all sense of the outside world, until they accept this reality. Even in Level 0, you can have some sense of understanding and process the events happening around you. But in this area of Level Smiler, you go completely mad. Basically, this is designed to kill your sanity before moving on to the next area. And I must say it's a very good move by the Smilers, because sanity is everything for humans inside Backrooms. And that being cut off, I guess they're paralyzed mentally. But if somehow you made it in here, you can move on to the next one. The fourth area of Level Smiler. If you made it this far, well done. You're one of those very few wanderers who made it till here. But you also must be tired, mad, numb at this point, and your frail body could become an easy target. So keep your guards on, because this place is called Smiler's Nursery, and it's where young Smilers practice their hunting skills by hunting you down. You're their subject, more like a toy. Even though they're small and young, but there would be so many of them that it's impossible to eradicate them completely. Besides, this zone is dimly lit, but still enough for any wanderer to be aware of their surroundings. This is also the last part of Level Smiler, which is nothing but pain and suffering. You're brought here through a series of spaces only to meet the end and suffer for it. There's hardly any documentation of any wanderer getting out of here. But if you want to try your luck, I wish you all the best. Level Smiler is where Smilers resided since their birth in the Backrooms. Hence, it's one of the oldest levels. And in those days, Smilers were only confined to Level Smiler. They didn't have to go out because wanderers used to visit this level quite frequently, so there was no shortage of food for them. But Smilers, being Smilers, they just don't want the food. They also like to play with their food. They like to invoke their fear in them, and that's what they feed the most. So they started coming out of Level Smiler to other darker levels of the Backrooms, and were first recorded by a group of anonymous teenage wanderers within Level 1 in 1987. Since then, many other recordings prove their existence in so many darker levels of the Backrooms. So these ghostly, alien beings are now everywhere. There are hundreds of entities in the Backrooms, but a smiling medium, which induces fear and paranoia within our souls, that one's always going to stand out. A drastic portion of those who know of the Smiler's existence agree that it's less of an entity and more of a physical description of the primordial fear of darkness and the unknown. Level Frown is one of the top secret levels in the Backrooms. And as you must have guessed by the name, it's a level dedicated only to the Frowners. Very little data is available about this level, so this is completely my take on Level Frown, how it would be if it exists. And this is before the Face War happened. So without further ado, let's dive into it. Before we know about Level Frown, let me give you a brief about the discovery of the Frowners. The Frowners are assumed to be some form of mutated version of the Smilers. This theory is not approved yet, but there is some truth to it, given the fact that there are a lot of commonalities between these two creatures. Smilers are the oldest entity inside the Backrooms, and the first existing member of the Face family. Smilers were first recorded by a group of anonymous teenage wanderers within Level 1 in 1987. Although this is the oldest record of their existence, it's highly likely that these entities were discovered even before that, knowing how common they are within the Backrooms. They can be seen almost in every dark level of the Backrooms. However, there's speculation about a Level Smilers too, which is a perfectly suitable place for them. Just like in Level 6, the light source in this floor is cut off and the torch doesn't work. The entire floor cannot record the location or navigate, and the only light source is their smiling face. I wouldn't go deep about it today, but comment Level Smiler if you want me to make a separate, dedicated video about it. Now back to the story. Everything in the nature always keeps changing and evolving. How can Backrooms be left out? Ever since it's come to existence, a lot of changes have happened inside the Backrooms. Many new entities have been discovered, many have been evolved, and a few have also gone extinct. So my guess is even Frowners too might have been evolved from a small group of Smilers, and it must have happened due to some kind of environmental changes. As we all know, Smilers are a creature of darkness. They can't sustain light, but still they need to hunt and eat to survive. And in the early days, Smilers were only being confined to level Smiler. However, you cannot just sit there and expect your food to walk to you, right? So eventually, when Wanderers started to become less and less in and around level Smiler, after learning about this deadly species, Smilers had to step out from level Smiler to other dark areas of the Backrooms in search for food. And it was during this time Smilers have been evolved to Frowners. They were visiting many new levels and were not being aware of which level contained what. And on one such occasion, a group of hungry Smilers visited an unknown level. It looked like an American hotel from the 1930s, except that everything here is black and white. Even though the level was suitable for them in terms of darkness, but they did come across some environmental hazards which affected them. They tried to go back to their base but failed. Eventually, they died out of pain and hunger. But here comes the twist. It was during this event which changed their form and nature completely. They evolved instead of being dead. They became a little more compassionate instead of just being a brainless shadow roaming with a hunting spree. They became Frowners. All the characteristics of being a Smiler died that day, and Frowners emerged out of it. You can call them even good Smilers if you like, because you would be surprised to know that Frowners don't hunt for sport. They only attack if provoked. As long as you avoid provoking or perceiving them as a threat, Frowners are known to approach and greet you. You see, they're much better than Smilers now. The mutation made them stronger. They can now go without even food. They're even stronger than Smilers. And as because they evolved from Smilers, Frowners can claw out a Smiler to convert them to a Frowner. The special power was not there with the Smilers before. They can't convert anyone. So you can definitely see a change here. Frowners became the advanced version of Smilers, and the unknown level they visited became level Frown. By appearance, it's a dark hotel with full of depressing atmosphere. Multiple corridors feature paintings of historical events, and doors leading to hotel rooms can be found. It should be noted that the air conditioning inside the hotel is very old, which leads to a very messy air conditioning system inside level Frown. Most importantly, the courtyard of the hotel, there's a fountain with almond water, which is safe for drinking. It also has special characteristics. Well, usually it's a water-like substance with subtle almond and vanilla flavor. This almond water tastes like a sweet vanilla cake. Oddly enough, this isn't always the case with almond water. And by far, a very few wanderers have visited level Frown, and it's a very secret and hidden level. About the entrances. If you're lucky enough to encounter a Frowner who offers you to take you to level Frown, you can be brought here. Jumping into a black and white painting has the potential to get you here. About the exits. Jumping into the space outside the hotel will teleport you to level 999. Squeezing into a hotel door can sometimes teleport you to level 5. swimming in the almond water pool will get you to level 7. And as I've already mentioned, this is all before the face war happened. And since level Frown is now overrun with a Smiler infestation after the events of the face war, it's now called as the old level Frown. After that, Frowners had to relocate to a new safe level. It's known as the new level Frown, and it's still a secret level. Not many knows about its existence in the Backrooms. Frowners made sure to put extra security this time so that Smilers never find out about their new level. And as far as Smilers are concerned, they're just brainless shadows who keep troubling everyone inside the Backrooms. Entity 27, also known as Rattlers, are well-hidden creatures that roam around in the darkness of the Backrooms. It's said that no one has ever seen a Rattler and survived. If a Rattler's face is somehow observed, the observer who viewed its face will go insane and starts crying 45 seconds later. Rattlers are masters of striking from the darkness, and it's unknown if they even have a physical form. They'll just drag you into the darkness before you get a chance to turn around. Fortunately, they're characterized by the rattling sound they make, very similar to a rattlesnake. This is how you can know if a Rattler is nearby. So do not mistake it for anything else. It is for sure a Rattler. Rattlers come under Class 5 in Entity Hazard. That means they're pretty dangerous creatures. There's no doubt about it. Habitat: Level 206, Level 119, and potentially dark areas. Rattlers are predatory and enjoy messing with their prey. They will not kill you straight away, but will constantly make their rattling sound. This is purely to drive you mad. They also have unparalleled speed. Even if you were to run and never stop, you'd still hear their rattle. This is because they are moving at the same speed with you to make it seem like you're not moving at all. That's one of their tactics. There's only one way to escape a Rattler: run straight for a source of light. And no need to think about the Smilers and Frowners at this point. They're nothing in front of Rattlers. However, you do have a low chance of escaping. But if it works, you'll be safe. Now coming to the Smilers and Rattlers rivalry. It started when a Smiler attacked and killed the victim of a Rattler. This infuriated the Rattler, and it actually managed to drive the Smiler insane. The Smiler underwent drastic changes. It began frowning, its face began glitching, and it would constantly try to get away from the Rattler. The other Smilers ended up attacking and actually killing the Rattler. The Rattlers, being smart, made Smilers the #1 enemy of their kind. Rattlers will sometimes even go out of their way to torment a Smiler instead of a Wanderer. And it's still continuing. However, it's unknown if Rattlers have a rivalry with Frowners. How to deal with Rattlers? When you face a Rattler, try to focus on staying sane. The more you struggle, the more likely you'll lose the battle, because that'll just make the Rattler more and more entertained. If that doesn't work, then try to find a Smiler to distract it. Smilers and Rattlers will attack each other on sight, and you can get away for sure. If all these fails, then just run. Run until you find a source of light. The Face War of the Backrooms. Yes, you heard it right. Partygoers and party poopers aren't the only entities decided to go against each other. There were more. And the Fun War isn't the only war that happened in the Backrooms. There are more. And the Face War is one among those. You didn't know, now you know. This is my take on the Face War. So, like every other war in the history of wars, this one too was messy, bloody, and scary. As you must have guessed by the name, this war happened among two of the entities of the Face family in the Backrooms, two of the famously known deadly entities, the Smilers and the Frowners. Both of them are powerful, unlike the partygoers and the party poopers, where only partygoers had the ultimate power. And there are a lot of questions to be answered, like how did the war start? Which party was responsible for it? Who won the war? Has any species again went extinct this time? Well, I'll answer all your questions in this video. So let's get into it. As you all know, Smilers are known to be one of the most hostile and very common entity in the Backrooms. They existed long before even humans explored the Backrooms. You can say they're one of the oldest entities inside the Backrooms. And as they're so fond of dark areas, they're seen in most of the levels, which are covered in darkness. They just love to chill there and scare the heck out of innocent wanderers. Yeah, they're very good at that. Their base is known to be the Smiling Room, and the majority of them reside in Level 2 and Level 3. Whereas the Frowners are among not very good, but not very bad either species, meaning they're kind of in between good and bad. They don't roam around with a hunting spree like Smilers do. They only attack if provoked. As long as you avoid provoking or perceiving them as a threat, Frowners are known to approach and greet you. Even they offer to take you to level Frown. Yes, there is a whole dedicated level only for themselves. It's a secret level. They keep it that way in order to avoid any invasion from Smilers. Smilers for sure are a very aggressive species. They don't mind their own business. In fact, they mind everyone's business except their own. And Frowners knew this. On that note, several accounts documented from Wanderers indicate that when confronted by Smilers on the way to level Frown, Frowners will become provoked by means of their presence and ward off any Smiler attacks. Frowners and Smilers' rivalry is very old in the Backrooms, and that somehow led to the Face War one day. I think Smilers are always looking for a war. They were just searching for a chance to get into level Frown. And they got it, finally. The Face War started when a Frowner broke ranks and turned a Smiler into a Frowner. Yes, Frowners have the ability to turn Smilers into one of their kind. The rest of the Frowners were not aware of this incident, and they somehow led the Smiler turned Frowner to level Frown. That's it. This exposed their location to Smilers and allowed Smilers to just go pour into the old level Frown. And that was the beginning of the Face War. The bystanders of this war state that it was a very ugly war. And that makes sense considering both of these species are extremely hostile. Smilers and Frowners have almost the similar characteristics and power. So it's hard to beat each other in such scenario. However, Frowners still had an upper hand as they can claw out a Smiler and turn it into a Frowner. The transition from a Smiler to be a complete Frowner still takes time, but it was the only way for the Frowners to win the Face War. As soon as Frowners started to turn them, Smilers had no other choice left except to leave level Frown. And that marked the victory of Frowners over Smilers in the event of the Face War. However, old level Frown was no longer viable in means of safety or to set up their base. Hence, Frowners had to move out and settle somewhere else. It's called the new level Frown, and it's still a secret, of course. Wondering what happened to old level Frown? Well, it was acquired by the Smilers, of course. So Smilers did get what they wanted without even winning the war. That's nice. Anyway, Frowners didn't get extinct, at least, like party poopers in the Fun War. So one good thing about the Face War. But after the war, Frowners claw out any Smiler they spot anywhere in the Backrooms and turn it into a Frowner as revenge for almost making them extinct. So this made Smilers and Frowners to be enemies forever. I think Smilers deserve that, because they were the ones who drew the first blood by breaking the Smiler-Frowner agreement. Otherwise, Frowners are, in general, a very friendly entity. Few wanderers have also stated that Frowners scare easily. If you make sudden moves in a one-on-one scenario, it will probably run away. If you make sudden moves or noises when surrounded by a small group of Frowners, they might kill or wound you. And if you startle a large group of Frowners, they will restrain you until you calm down. They're creatures that easily get scared. So if you avoid making these movements, Frowners, in which scenario encountered, would remain docile and may approach you calmly. They are, in general, a very friendly entity. Few theories also state that Frowners are some mutated and advanced version of Smilers, because Frowners came into existence after Smilers, and they share almost the same powers and characteristics, like they both reside in dark hallways, don't have a physical body, and only have glowing facial features. The only difference, however, is Smilers smile and Frowners frown. So the possibility of being some kind of advanced version is there. That being said, Rattlers could also fall into this category, as they too share similar characteristics. Just that they're like some 10 times deadlier than Smilers and Frowners, the strongest member in the Face family. And that's it for today. Let me know in the comment below which level you want to see next. See you in my next video. Till then, bye.